Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello. It is Monday and it is a new weekly reading vlog. This is the first reading vlog of January. I have been reading in January, obviously, because now it is the 5th of January. You can't see that. It is the 5th of January, Monday the 5th, the first Monday of the year. And we are starting fresh. You'll have seen me at the end of last week's vlog, this morning before I went to work. I have now been to work, gotten stuff done. It was nice. It was nice and like constant. Like there was always something to do, but not like too much to do. Just like bits and bobs, checking emails, things like that. It was nice. It was nice to be back in the rhythm, and it didn't feel like a long day. Also I won the work lottery, so we do like a bonus ball lottery. So you choose a number and you put £1 in every week, and then if you get the bonus ball, if it comes up your number, you win the pot. So I won this week's, or I won the pot. My number came in. So I went and got everybody cakes. I had a yum yum because I'm nice like that. And yeah, it's exciting. Like first day back, had a good day at work. Won the bonus ball lottery thing. It's been had a cake. It's been a decent day so far. Plans for today: read Silver Elite. I need to catch up with my YouTube, which is why I picked up the remote. I need to catch up with my YouTube and then read some Silver Elite. The washing needs folded, but in all honesty, I'll leave that to Kay because I really struggle with folding the washing. It is time to watch some YouTube. Hopefully, maybe should be through to get a drink. Apparently, I'll just put some water because he's needing more. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. I'll try and make this week a bit more interesting for you. I'll need to check when I've got the hairdressers because my hair's getting to that length now where it keeps like separating out. Because it's too long. It's too long. I think I might be giddy with sleep deprivation. Yeah, some point this week as well, I'm hoping to go get a tattoo. I think probably in here, maybe. I was thinking maybe here or here. I'm not entirely sure where. I'm not decided yet, but I was thinking about maybe in here. Because I got money for Christmas for a tattoo specifically, and then I won the bonus ball thing at work, which I can then put towards a tattoo, just a small tattoo. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Very excited about that because I really want to get more tattoos, but tattoos are expensive, as they should be. I'm not debating that, but it just means that they go kind of lower down on the priority list, because like bills and stuff need to be paid. Pets like to tote up some vet bills. Yes, I'm talking about you. And then to add to that, when I buy books, it's like, oh, they don't cost that much. So like, but then it all builds up and I just snooker myself. So anyway, I'm done rambling. I am going to go watch some YouTube. I might edit later because I've still got 3 videos, I think, to edit. I need to film a December wrap up. I need to film a full TBR, like my 2026 starting TBR. So I have stuff I need to do, but I just want to relax and not overdo it. I'm also very cold. It is very cold at my work. Like the heating is on, but it just doesn't want to do it. So we've all been a wee bit chilly. So yeah, and then I had to go out in like -2, which doesn't sound like much, but considering I'm used to being in a building that's like 22, that's the difference of 24 degrees. That's not, my body doesn't like that. I struggle a lot with cold temperatures, because it hurts my joints and stuff. Yeah, I'm 33, but I inhabit a body of what, 90-year-old? Right, I'll speak to you later. Hopefully with some good updates. Hello, it is later, as you can probably tell. My hair's in that thing again where I feel like it looks like there's more hair up here, like it's thicker and then it gets thinner. I think it's the biotin. I'm going to say it's the biotin doing its job, and it's like eventually I'll have a nice thick luscious hair. I used to have really thick hair. That's the other thing. Like when I was a kid, I used to have to get it thinned because it was so thick. And you can see my very prominent grey hair just here, reflecting in the light. I've decided that I don't care about the grey hair. So, yeah. Anyway, I've been sitting watching YouTube videos all day, all night, all afternoon and evening. I even watched the 3-part series that someone did, going through the entire Lord of the Rings and going through the movies and then explaining bits of lore that were left out that help it make sense, or make more sense, and then also making like comments about where certain things differ, like the Battle of Helm's Deep is very different and how they get there is very different. So like things like that she goes over. Reading wise, I did not read much. I have read 63 pages. Now I want to read up to page 200 and get my 200 and get my 100 pages in. But that's like 40 pages and it's already midnight, so I really need to go to bed. I'm still really enjoying this. It is most definitely given like Fourth Wing. Most definitely given Fourth Wing. So I am currently really enjoying it. It's interesting learning about the training and stuff like that. I have a theory. My brain did it could be bunnies. Becca commented that on my I did that on one of my vlogs. I said, I've got a theory. It could be bunnies. And Becca was like, nice. Becca commented on it in the vlog, and now I've just done it again. I can't not. Somebody says I have a theory, and my brain goes, it could be bunnies. I need to rewatch Buffy. It's been a while. Anywho, what was I saying? Oh yeah, there's a character in this who we don't know their name. They have a different name. Like they use a pseudonym almost. And I love how it's in my Heartstopper thing because I just grabbed the first cover. Yeah, they use a pseudonym, but I have a theory about who it could be. Like in real life, I could be wrong. That's why it's a theory. So we shall find out at some point, I am sure. Probably like right at the end of the book. Either it's going to be like halfway through or like at the end of the book it's going to be like a reveal. Again, I don't know any of this. I'm just guessing stuff. At this point, I'm just guessing stuff. But it's time for me to go to bed. I think, should I consult the coin? Let me consult the coin. I lost the coin. Okay. Try again. I said go to bed. I actually did. That's so annoying that it fell off a minute. I'll try again. Good bit, yeah. So I think that's very distinctive. Go to bed, Andy. So I'm going to bed. I've got work in the morning. I need to get my pills for the morning. I need a bigger one of these. I did have a 4-a-day one, but I lost Friday. I just can't find Friday. So I now have a 2-a-day one. And in the morning, when I get up to go to work, so like I take this at 6 a.m. and this at 6 p.m. But I also need to take like my Pexfendine and stuff at 12 and 12. So I take this at 6, and then when I get up to go to work, I put my 12 o'clock ones in this. I have a system. Right. Bedtime before I start gibbering. Good night. Hi. How you doing? Hello. It's been a couple of days, I think. Here we go. I really need to get my French cut. It is now Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. I missed yesterday completely because I've had a bit of a day yesterday, to be honest. It is now Wednesday, the 7th. I am about to get up and start getting ready to go to the gym. I've already been to work. And I ended up going to the doctor's as well. So, you know how I had the surgery a few months ago? If I've not mentioned it. Well, I need to have more surgery. Again, I think I've mentioned it. And I had my pre-op for that on the 15th of December. Now, this, I don't know whether to call it a surgical wound or like what at this point. It's not even a surgical wound at this point. Like, the thing I need the surgery on, I've had surgery on before. It has reoccurred. It is now literally tunneling into my flesh at this point. But yeah, I've been ignoring it. Like, the surgeon saw it in November and was like, yeah, it's definitely going to need surgery. So he then put me in on the list for surgery. I got a pre-op in December. And then ever since then, it's just been continuously getting worse. I've been kind of just putting dressings on it, keeping it clean, that sort of thing. But it's still infected, still bloody, that sort of thing. So today last night it got to the point where I was so uncomfortable. I was just like, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get comfortable. It's just constantly painful. It's now, I said to the doctor, it's now like the level of pain is above what I can distract myself with. So she had a look at it and she literally looked at it for like half a second and went, oh wow. You know, that's bad when the doctor does that. And she's like, oh wow, yeah. And I knew that, like I say, it's literally tunneling into my flesh and the infection. So there's, like, I knew there was a hole there. And she was like, that is a really big hole. Like, it's gone deep into my skin or into my flesh, really. And I was like, yeah, I knew it was going to be like bad. And then I can't remember what I said. She was like, oh no, there's 2 holes. And I was like, 2? There was only 1 hole there last week. And she was like, yeah, no, there's 2. And I was like, cool, amazing, fantastic, brilliant, amazing. She was like, yeah, and it's quite bloody. And I was like, cool, perfect, fantastic, amazing. Love that for me. So the doctor has prescribed me some antibiotics, which I do not have yet because the pharmacy does not have them in stock, which is strange because normally antibiotics is one of those things that they just have in stock, you know? Obviously, there's been enough, like, people who've had enough, I don't know, some kind of infection that they don't have any Cobox-Clav, which is what the doctor has given me a prescription for. So they'll get it in for tomorrow. And it obviously needs antibiotics because she's given me antibiotics, but it's not a case where, like, because it's open and draining, it's not building up pressure. So a lot of the problem with these sort of abscesses is that they build up pressure underneath your skin, and the pressure is what's painful, along with the infection. But I don't feel unwell. Like, I don't feel like I've got an infection. I don't have a temperature. Like, none of those symptoms. Well, kind of, but, like, you know,
I'm fine. Totally fine.
I don't feel unwell. And so tomorrow afternoon is fine. I'll get them after work. And then start. And then it's not gonna, nothing's gonna change if I don't get my antibiotics Friday, you know. But, tidbit from the doctor, little tidbit from the doctor, apparently, your pre-op assessment is meant to be done no more than 2 months before your surgery. I had mine on the 15th of December, which means, technically, the 15th of February is my 2 months. So, I know we're only like 7 days into January, but like that gives me a little bit more of like she said they have to redo it if it's not, so it could be that it takes longer. But if I think about it, I just think it was going to be 3 to 6 months for the appointment. I saw the surgeon and he put me on the list in November, so it's like November, December, January, February, it's 3 months. So it could be maybe like with like a week or so with Christmas and New Year, because I think they probably don't plan anything for then. I don't know. So like, hopefully by like the first week or 2 into March, I'll have had my surgery. Oh my god, that the entire way through that, I just keep yawning. I'm yawning so much right now. I'm so sleepy, so tired, so ugh. But I have the gym tonight. I've got my class thing for. It's a slot that we have a class in. We have a room and stuff like that, but we can use the gym, and it's just so we have, like, it's like a PT slot, almost like a shared PT slot. So that is today at 6:15. I want to say. I need to double check that. I'm going to go a little bit earlier because the slot's only an hour, and I usually, like, I don't like to hold them up at the end, even though I'm always the last one out. But my workout program takes like an hour and 15 minute shifts, an hour and 15 minutes ish, depending on if I can get onto machines. because, you know, there are people there. And we're now, like I say, it's the 7th of January, so the gym is going to be filled with the January New Year's resolution people that will slowly disappear as the month goes on. So hopefully I can get on the machines. I only need 7 machines. Not even 7 machines, because some of them are just weights. Like 3 of them at least are just weights. So I only need to get on the bike, the chest press, the leg extension, and the treadmill. That's it. And there's loads of treadmills. So the treadmill's never really usually a problem. But there's only 2 bikes. 1 chest press, 1 leg extension. So that's where I might have some trouble. But we shall see. I also really need to stop. I need to go to bed at a decent time. I keep having all these plans to go to bed early, and then all of a sudden it's midnight and I'm like, what are you doing? So yeah, I'm tired. But yeah, I'll need to, it's like 4:45. And I would like to get there like maybe 5:45. Maybe even for 5:45. I need to work out how long I need to go, when I need to leave, whatever. I think what I'll do is I'll read a little bit until he comes in, which will only get me a few chapters because she should be in the next 20-25 minutes. Get ready and go to the gym. Hello, I've been to the gym, as you can tell, and I've come back and I had some sushi. Not my usual sushi. They've stopped doing that, which is really annoying. But I had some hoisin duck and teriyaki chicken sushi, not together, but they were in little. That was the flavours that were in the thing. And I was really craving fruit, so I made myself a little fruit salad. I got fruit while I was at Asda. And yeah, I went a bit far. It's a bit precarious with it. So this is my fruit. It's got 2 bananas, 4 slices of melon, 2 of each different type. Like, so 2 of the, it's like orange inside and green on the outside, and the yellow one. 2 Granny Smith apples and a couple of handfuls of grapes. It doesn't look like that many grapes because when I got to this capacity, I started just eating the grapes. So I'm going to go and snack on my post-gym dinner. And then hopefully shower. And I really need to read something today. Hello, it's Thursday, and despite saying I would try and make this vlog more interesting, I'm now vlogging from the same place in the same clothes. Or jammies, really. So my apologies. I would just like to say these have been washed. Like, I'm just being too lazy to go upstairs to get jammies, so I've got like 2 pairs that I keep swapping between. So like when one's in the wash, I'll just wear the other and vice versa. So yeah, they have been washed. Like I've showered, so I put clean jammies on. You know, they just go through the wash. Anywho, I am reading. You can't see because it's in the thing. I'm reading Silver Elite, and I'm now 432 pages in, which is like, so just about to start chapter 47, and it's 512 pages long even. So I'm making good headway. I've got less than 100 pages left. I'm not finishing this tonight. I'm going to bed at some point. She says, I'm really enjoying this. This really is like so much like fantasy dystopian, like popular fantasy dystopian books all mashed together. So I'm getting Divergent vibes. Divergent, Fourth Wing, and Shatter Me are the 3 main ones that I'm getting. There's a little bit of like Hunger Games, but more Mockingjay side of it. Like, yeah, more like Mockingjay end of it. Is what I'm getting. So like those 4 sort of mixed in. It is technically dystopian because it's a future world where bioterrorism, bioweapons have caused the fantasy elements in it. So it's like it's more of a sci-fi dystopian, which dystopian I think pretty much sits very much firmly in sci-fi. Vicky did try and explain the like levels of sci-fi to me, but I just, yeah. This is why I can't tell sci-fi and fantasy apart. This is why I group them together, because people with powers to me is fantasy, but this is explained through bioweapons. So like these bioweapons caused mutations that allowed the powers to happen. So that's technically sci-fi. But it's, yeah. So this is what me and sci-fi and fantasy were just a bit skew with. But it's fine. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. It is, I mean, there's just been a reveal that I called from like, I think I called from like very, very early on. I've been saying this. I said it to Bobby. I've said it to Kay. From like at least chapter 11. At least maybe chapter 10 when we met somebody. Actually, we met them before that, but there was a point where I was like, I think this about this character, and I was correct about the character. So yeah, I am really enjoying it. It just feels like it really, really brings me back to those like old school dystopians. Like it really gives me that feeling. I've not had that feeling about a book for ages. I remember going into Waterstones, and it's funny because it was the guy that worked in the Dundee Waterstones was down at a different Waterstones, because they were. Or was it in Dundee? No, it was in Dundee. Sorry, I went to the Dundee Waterstones, and the guy normally works in a different Waterstones that I'd seen him in before, and I'd gone into, I think I had an appointment at 9 or something, I'd gone into Waterstones. Anyway, that doesn't matter. And I said to him, I want to read a book that'll give me the same feelings as The Hunger Games gave me the first time I read it. Like, I want that feeling again, because you don't get the same feeling after you already know the story. Like, you don't get the same feeling than when it's new. Like, if I could forget everything and read it again for the first time, that's the feeling I want from this book. And he recommended Wool. Now, I DNF'd Wool. I did not like Wool. I started watching the TV series. It's called Silo. That's based off of Wool. I can't remember who the author is for Wool. But it's about these people who live in this silo. And it's like an underground silo, so like a little bit sticks at the top, but the rest of it tunnels down into the earth. And the whole way down the silo, there's just stairs. There's just spiral stairs. And different levels. I mean, I think higher up, you're like better off, and lower down, you're like peasants, as it were. And if you're punished, if you do something to the point where they feel it endangers the silo, you're sent out to cleaning, is what it's called. And so you are sent literally outside. So because there's no windows, because it's underground, there's TV screen, like screens everywhere, along the walls that look like windows, and they are showing the camera feed from outside, which is just like scorched earth. Basically, there's been a massive nuclear war, and that the people in the silos are the only one, and the silo are the only ones that are left, as far as they're aware. And the cameras just show this desolate land, this completely dead, desolate land, and because of the fact that these cameras are outside and the air's toxic and all that jazz, the cameras get dirty, and so the only time they get cleaned is when someone is sent out for cleaning. And now you have the choice to just walk away. You don't have to clean. But for some reason, everybody always cleans. They always clean. Without fail. They always clean. And you find out why. You do find out why very early on in the book. But I did not get very far in the book. This book, so there is like a little bit of a murder mystery type thing going on. But there was so much of this book that was spent on people walking up and down these stairs. And I don't mean like I mean, you spend ages walking down and down and down and down and down and down and down for so many pages. And then of course you've got to go up and up and up and up and up. And it was so mind numbing. So unbelievably mind numbing to me. Like it's weird because I always say about Becca Chambers, like The Long Way to Small Angry Planet, nothing happens in that book. There is no excitement. I mean, there is a little bit of excitement, but nothing really happens in the book. You spend most of your time with the cast of the book on the ship in an isolated setting. So you're on the ship, you can't get out the ship, you're travelling the long way around to this place so they can make a wormhole back. And nothing happens. You're literally spending time getting, like, just with these characters on the ship. But what you're doing is getting to know them really, really deeply, getting to see their interpersonal relationships. Rosemary, I think, is the name of the character. is, if that's right, then that's the first time I've remembered a character's name like that really well. She is new to the crew, so she's only joined them for this mission. And so through her, you're getting to know all the other people, and a lot of them have known each other for years. Like, they've been a crew for years and years and years, and they've all got their different personalities. They're all different species of aliens, and humans, and so you're getting to know about the history of these people personally, culturally. You're getting to know about interpersonal relationships, things they may have done together in the past, how they met, how they fit together on the ship as this crew. You get to know the ship because the ship is sentient. It's an AI ship, and like it's so like Red Dwarf. This is what I love about Red Dwarf. Like, nothing happens in Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf is so uninteresting conceptually. It's these three guys stuck on a ship with Holly, who's the ship, and they just create hijinks every episode. That's why I love, like, that. I think that's probably why I love it. I normally don't like what I watch and read. Like, I like one but not the other. But I love Red Dwarf. If you like Red Dwarf, you like Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and vice versa, I think, personally. But yeah, so nothing happens. But you dig so deep into these characters, and the characters are so rich that it's one of my favourite books of all time. I also, to be fair, A Close and Common Orbit, I think, is the other one I like, which is Record of a Spaceborne Few. Long Way to Small Angry Planet and Record of a Spaceborne Few are my two favourite books, and both of them are set on ship. I really like the way that Becky Chambers does isolated sentence. However, with Silo, you spend more time talking about the stairs and the state of the railing, and like, it's so boring. So that did not give me that feeling, suffice it to say, getting back to my original point. But this Silver Elite is giving me that same feeling. In a way, it's not new. There's nothing new or revolutionary about this book. It is very much standard issue 2010s dystopian. 2000s, 2010s dystopian. It is very, like, very standard. Like, I also like to say there's elements of Fourth Wing in here because of the way the sort of squad relationships are. It reminds me a lot of the squad relationships in Fourth Wing. And yeah, it's very much, it gives that feeling, and I'm thoroughly enjoying that nostalgic feeling reading this book. I don't know if you didn't have the nostalgia, whether you'd like it or not. I feel like hardcore fantasy people may not like this. Like, I feel like I am not your Robert Jordan reader, Brandon Sanderson, like, those detailed epic fantasies is not for me. It's not my thing. Political fantasies is not my thing. People who like those, probably, I could see them not liking this. However, I do know that some people will. I don't know. But don't take this as a recommendation of me saying this is the best book ever, because I know I have very different enjoyment of these type of books than other people. But it makes me happy, so I don't really care. I've also started my antibiotics. I've also started antibiotics today, just to add another pill to my rattling session, because my surgical site, as I told you, is reinfected. So, yeah, doctor gave me antibiotics, and I've started them today. So I've only had one, but I guarantee it's probably going to give me some kind of heartburn, because why not? I'm yawning, Hamish is yawning, this is terrible, we just need Katie yawning, then that's all of us. I think I'll definitely, it's like 11:15, I really, really, really need to go to bed soon, because I've not been going to sleep at a decent time. I've been going to sleep at very, very bad times, and it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not that I'm making bad decisions. Part of it's making slightly bad decisions, but there is something that happens with EDS. So I think it was Ed Byrne, the comedian, that made this joke about his wife and about women. And he was saying, like, you'll go the whole day not really speaking to his wife. Like, not that he doesn't want to, just that they'll go through the day and they'll chat about things and whatever. And then they'll go to bed, he'll lie down, and all of a sudden his wife wants to talk about everything. And he's like, do you ladies, like, when you lie back, to something slot into your head, and all of a sudden you want to, like, you've got all this information that you want to talk about that you could have talked about hours ago. It's much funnier the way he does it, but that's the whole idea, is like, it's not connected. Like, there's something sitting, not connected. Like, when you used to put, like, Nintendo games in, or Sega games in, you'd push it down enough. Aging myself. And so, like, when you lie down, it slides into place, and it's like, the connection is made, and you've got that, like, information to tell. But, in a funny way, that does happen with EDS. And it's because, or it's thought to be because the blood... This is a new thing I found out, by the way, from a neurologist. So, it turns out, because when I'm standing up, all my blood is, like, pulling in my legs. Like, I've got, like, my veins and stuff, they don't, they can't squeeze as hard because they're too flexible. And so blood will pull down in my extremities a lot easier. It's like when I fall asleep like this whole arm goes numb really, really quickly because the blood's pulling down and out of it because it can't push it up into it. And yeah, so something similar happens to our brains. So when we lie down, it allows, like, there's no up and down pressure of gravity, you're flat, so your blood can run, like, a lot easier into your brain, and so it basically triggers your brain to wake up. So when we go to bed, a lot of the time, a lot of us will find that we have this sudden rush of energy, and it's because your brain is getting more blood than it needs, that it hasn't been getting all day. That's like slowly all day as you've been more and more longer upright, it's not getting what it needs, and then you lie down, it's getting it. It's not dangerous, it's just, like, functional, I suppose. But yeah, so it's not my fault that I can't sleep, it's literally because of my EDS. I'm also going through a little bit of an insomnia phase, so I go through, like, peaks and troughs of insomnia and fatigue. I'm still fatigued, don't get me wrong, like, I'm still tired, but I go through, I call it my pits I call the peaks the insomnia and the pits the fatigue, just because it makes more sense in my brain like that. So, like, when I'm in the fatigue, I can sleep for hours and hours and hours and hours, and, like, wake up and still need a nap and still go, like, fall asleep like that. And it is, like, it doesn't matter how much sleep I get, I'm still exhausted. But then when I've got the insomnia, I've got insomnia, so I can't sleep, or I don't stay asleep, or, like, I'll get, like, so little sleep through the night because I just can't get myself to, like, my brain won't go into this sleep mode. And I can see that it's fun. I can see the difference on my tracking app and my watch. How, like, I continuously will, like, come out of, like, it's like I can't get into deep sleep. I can't get into that restful sleep. So yeah, that's fun. I'm barely sleeping. I'm constantly tired, but I can't sleep. And yeah, it's fun. I forget where I was going with this point. But yeah, I'm in insomnia. I'm in a little insomnia peak at the moment. So, even if I go to bed really early, I can't sleep, which is fun. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm gonna go. I don't know if something's just happened, so I might read this chapter, which is 10 pages, and then go to bed, or I should probably just go to bed now. When I tell you, I'm getting so annoyed right now with CapCut. I use CapCut to edit my videos, right? And I have been exporting this video for an hour and a half, maybe. This is the third or fourth time I've had to cancel out of it and restart the export. And it literally went from 72% back down to 33%. I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand what's happening. So see this is like, this was at 17 minutes earlier, and it goes up. We're at 34%. This is a vlog. And it just doesn't seem to get any further. I don't understand what's going on with CapCut. This only started when CapCut started pinging up the pay for premium, like, unlock premium features. Ever since I started getting pro ads from CapCut, my exports have started messing up. I'm not saying it's the reason why, but the fact that it's happened at the same time is really annoying. Oh, we've got 36% now. Maybe if I keep staring at it with the camera, it'll export. So yes, I'm quite annoyed. I'm quite annoyed at that. I am... We're at 37% now. I am on page 442 of Silver Elite. I keep wanting to say Silver Cloak. And that's not right. That's a different book completely. And there's 512 pages. So I have exactly 70 pages left. This should be nice and easy to finish tonight. I'm just going to finish watching some YouTube videos and then I'm going to hopefully finish this book and hopefully get this video uploaded. I am trying to get stuff edited, but in the time it's taken this to export, I could have edited another video. CapCut used to be really good. I don't know what is happening. I don't know if there's like a cookie cache or something that's wrong, or like it's updated as far as I can tell. If anybody has any recommendations for free or cheap editing software, because I'm not going to pay ridiculous amounts for editing software when I am not, like, I'm not paying for editing software to pay to do a hobby that I don't necessarily, like, I know you pay for stuff to do hobbies, like, say I was crocheting, I'd be paying for, like, the wool and stuff, like, yeah, but considering CapCut's been working fine, and now all of a sudden it's just not, I'm not, and also, like, I don't need to make YouTube videos, like, it's not, I don't know, I'm just annoyed at it. Oh, we're at 40%, let's see how this goes. Hello, it is later on Friday. I have just finished Silver Elite. Yeah, this is given definitely like your typical dystopian vibes. Like I say, more Catching Fire, Mockingjay end of Hunger Games than Hunger Games end. Definitely on that front. And I had something happened, and in my head, I had like, it's hard to say without spoiling anything. Basically, something happened, and I was like, yeah, I don't trust it. And I had a different theory, and my theory was right. What happened was, in fact, not real, if that makes sense. Obviously, it doesn't make sense because I'm not talking about specifically what happened in the book. I really enjoyed this. Like, I really enjoyed this. There were some things where I feel like it needed a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe like she'll tweak it later on to fill the plot holes, but there was like a few things that I feel like we skipped a few steps to get there. But you know what? I'm not even mad. This is not a book I'm reading because I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a fantastic new piece of fiction that's going to revolutionise what I'm reading. This because I want a fun book, but it does also, like a dystopian should, and like The Hunger Games and Shatter Me and Fourth Wing and what was the other one I compared it to? Divergent. Like all of those other dystopians, it looks at the nuance of power and corruption and us versus them, and how there is no real, like, nobody's the pure good victim. Like, none of the sides in this are like the definition good side. Like, they're both doing things that are not great, you know. And it has a character who's kind of stuck in between because she trusts people on both sides and can't, not that she can't decide between them, but she is stuck in this corridor of nuance. She's stuck in this position where she is in the middle. She's in the middle of everything because she has to get to know people on each different side. That, if you've not read the book, that may not make sense. But a lot of this book is, to me, is looking at the nuance of power and corruption and, like I said, the them versus us rhetoric. Like, everybody likes to think that their side are the good guys. But realistically, like, even if you want to look at something where it's very distinctly a them versus us, where there was one side that I would argue are distinctly the good guys, right? Go to World War II, because, well, the world's dystopian as it is right now, but World War II is one of my sort of special interests. Is a subject I really like researching. I love reading books about. I know a decent amount about. So, if we think of World War II, we all know, and it's obviously fairly well known, which is why I want to use it as an example. So, the Second World War was between basically the Allies, which was our side, the UK, the US, Canada, France, Belgium, etc. And so many other, obviously, World War. But, like, generally speaking, not people who were aligned with Germany. And then on the Axis powers, there was, like, Germany. I mean, Russia was on our side, which is wild. And on, like, Germany's side, you had, like, Italy, and you had, I think they did have Russia on their side until they tried to invade them. I know a bit less about that side of the war, to be honest, but Japan was on their side as well. So you had these two sides, the Allies and the Axis powers, and everybody can agree fairly well that the Allies were the good guys. You know, the Axis powers, the Germans, the Nazis that were putting people in death camps, trying to exterminate an entire people, you know, or anybody who is Roma or gay or disabled or neurodivergent, or the list continues. Anybody who wasn't perfect, basically, they were out to destroy. And so that is unequivocally a bad thing. I think we can all agree that's unequivocally bad. And I'm not going to try and justify anybody on that side. I mean, there were definitely people within that world who were trying to push against it. Like, I know someone whose grandfather was drafted into the Luftwaffe, and he did not want, because he flew a plane for his, like, family farm. So he flew, like, it would put, like, the pesticides and fertilizers and stuff like that over the field. So because he was a trained pilot, he was drafted into the Luftwaffe. And so on his first flight, where he actually had to go into combat, he crashed the plane across the enemy lines because he refused to fight. But he couldn't turn around. Well, he could. If he turned around to, like, the Germans and said, well, no, I'm not going to fight for you, he would have been gone. But instead, what he did was he flew his plane over into enemy lines, crashed the plane so that it would no longer be serviceable, and they wouldn't be able to use it to, like, enhance their campaign. And he then got to surrender and moved to Scotland. Eventually married, had kids, etc. So there were definitely people who weren't on their side, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, but they thought, like, I'm not, like, in general, we all kind of agree, we can all agree, Nazi regime, bad. But when we're talking about the Allies, this is where the nuance comes in, from my point of view. We see ourselves as the good guys. And yet, during the war, we bombed civilians. During the war, America had camps. It's not very widely known, but America had camps that they put German American citizens in, Japanese, and I say Japanese like that with the quotation marks, because given that it's America, it was anybody who looked remotely Asian in the camp. Didn't matter if you were Japanese, Chinese, Korean, in the camp you go. Because Americans, apparently at that time, didn't have nuance. How things change. And so, yeah, Americans had camps, and that was during the war. Canada is part of the reason that the Geneva Conventions exist, because their soldiers were so terrifying and did so many things that at one point the world went, yeah, so maybe we should make some rules. So we can all just be chill during war. How does that sound? even prisoner of war camps, there's a standard that you're meant to have for prisoner of war camps, and they wouldn't have been upheld very well. Do you not think that we treated prisoners of war in this country like enemies? Yes, they are enemies. I totally 100% understand the feeling behind it, but to be if you were being like that perfect victim, if you're being that perfect, like, we are such good people, why are you attacking us? You wouldn't treat your enemies poorly. And yet they did. Like, yes, overall, big picture zoomed out, we were technically the good guys and they were the bad guys. That's how it works. They were trying to literally eliminate a people and take over the world, like fucking Pinky and the Brain. But it's not to say that the good guys didn't do bad things. And it wasn't to say that there was nobody who was seeing the good guys do the bad things and going, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should be better. For, people to turn and be like, well, if they're being, like, we're not as bad as them, therefore we're good. And that's not how it works. That's not nuance. That is black and white thinking, and it's not. So this is what I'm talking about. So she's in a position where she's got both sides being like, well, we're the good guys. And she's like, neither of you are particularly great, to be perfectly honest. And she's having to balance this out. And I think it holds that conversation, or it starts that conversation really well, because I don't have, like, I'm reading this, and I'm not resolutely on one side or the other either. Like, when you read Divergent, for example, you kind of have a side in that almost. Well, not really, because again, there's that, no, but again, it's a later on part of it that this kind of reflects. And when it comes to like with the Hunger Games, we all thought we knew what she was going to do at the end, and like, everybody thought she was going to do that thing at the end, and she turned around and did something else. And that, like, yeah, it's trying to talk about books without spoilers is really hard, especially when it's things like I saw people reading The Hunger Games for the first time this year, and I mean, like, adult book creators, like people who are my age, who have been reading books for years, who have been on BookTube for years, and they just read The Hunger Games this year. And that to me is wild, because it seems like such a staple series to me, because I read it when I was in uni. And that was on the insistence of one of my flatmates who loved it. And it was just before the first film came out. And I just got out of surgery and I couldn't sleep because anaesthetic does funny things to you. Like, the first 24 hours, you sleep non-stop. The next few days, though, you don't sleep at all. Or at least I don't. And so I read all 3 books within 24 hours because I was wired to the moon, thanks to the anaesthetic. Or whatever they give you to reverse it. I don't know what causes it, but I'm wired after I have surgery. Anyway, I forget what point I was making. Oh yeah, they just read The Hunger Games. So to me, it's a very, like, Hunger Games, Divergent, Shatter Me. There are certain things that I've read myself, and I've seen so many people read it back in the day, that to me it's just a staple series that everybody knows about, but I need to remember that not everybody's read it, and so I don't want to spoil things, even though I'm like, oh, they're so old, like, I don't want to spoil it. I mean, there's certain things that it's old enough that it shouldn't really be a spoiler, like Frankenstein. If I say Dr. Frankenstein made a monster out of dead bodies, I don't see that as a spoiler. It was literally written in the 1800s. It was the 18th century. That was wrong. It's the 1800s. Everybody knows Frankenstein. Everybody knows what Frankenstein is. That's not a spoiler. There's going to be somebody that's like, oh, that's a spoiler. But, like, yeah, anyway. This book brought back that discussion. This book very much, to me, is looking at power and corruption, and not even just power in, like, political power. You've got political power, and you've got the power of the rich versus the poor. You've got the power of people with power versus people without power. Again, maybe even looking at Red Queen, but not necessarily, because the primes in this are like regular people, and the silvers are literally their veins go silver when they use their abilities, and they are the ones that are being hunted to extinction by the primes. And although the silvers are the ones with the power, like physical, like with the physical manifestations of power, they are the ones that are they are the ones that are being treated like lesser citizens. They are the ones that are being treated as slaves, as prisoners, as they're the ones that are being subjugated. But it's because they subjugated the primes before that. Like, it's this back and forth of being unable to live in harmony because power corrupts. Like, I know for myself, like, I could never be a leader. I could never have that kind of power because I would be seen as a tyrant. I know that because I have a lot of very black and white literal thinking. Like, do I understand where someone's coming from? Like, in like this book, where it's like, oh, these people use their powers to literally subjugate and enslave us. We should just get rid of all of them. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But then, again, you need to zoom in, because it's not all of them. It's not every individual. It's a few who have the power, who have not only the manifestation power, but also have the political power, who are doing this. And it's not an all or nothing. And I think that's what dystopians do so well. And that's what I love about dystopians, is it opens this conversation about power and corruption and about society and about the ways that humans just can't seem to get along with each other. We just have this ingrained in us. Like, we forget that we are animals. We forget that at the base of it, we're animals. And animals react to stimulus. Animals react in a way that is based on to protect their life and the life of their group, their pack, their pride, their group. That's why there's such a them and us thing. We humans like to think that we have logic and therefore we're above it. But if you look at the world, we still very much have a us and them mentality. Whether it be, like, I saw somebody on Threads today asking, why is it in Scotland that like every town has that town 200 like yards away, or 200 whatever it was, 2 miles away, that they hate? And the Scottish people, funnily, in the comments were saying, like, isn't that enough? It's like, literally, but there is, like, my high school hated the high school along the road from us, simply because they were next to us. If you look at a lot of places, you just have this rivalry with the person next to you because they are not you. And yet, like, you can have, it's like football matches and rugby matches and, like, team sports. You have us and them. You have your team and their team. And you would happily mix with those people out with that scenario. But within that scenario, they are the enemy. They are the other. And that is deeply, deeply ingrained into animals. Like, it is always us and them when it comes to animals. It is our survival versus their survival, and we're always going to fight for us. Like, that's just how it works. And humans need to understand that we still have this instinct. But layered on top of it, which is a blessing and a curse, frankly, we have this level of logic where we can look and say, just because they're, like, in the wider society, they're still us. Even though they maybe are them, they're in a different team, they're in a different group, they're, like, they're in a different town, they're still, at the end of it, they're still people. We're all just still people. And sometimes, like I say, sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse. It's a blessing because that's what creates community, that's what creates connections, that's what creates the beauty that humanity has, where we can meet someone from across the globe and find something in common and make a new friend and respect cultures and find wonder in the world. Like, we go to different countries and we see the beauty there, we see the culture, we see all these incredible things. But it's a curse because then we see the ugliness in the them versus us mentality. Like, we are currently watching a world in which people who are different to each other, so different countries, different political beliefs, different religions, are at each other's throats and literally, like, trying to destroy one another. And we feel that, like, empathetically, like, because we have this layer of logic, we see the destruction and we see the devastation, and it's awful, it's horrendous, it's literally indescribable. And that is the curse of having the logic, because we can see what's being done about it. Like, we can see what's being done in the world, and we can feel how awful it is, but people still use that us and them mentality to justify their behaviour. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't have that. I absolutely get that feeling when I meet, like, other people or see other groups, or, like, there is always going to be that deep-seated survival instinct in you, but it's what you do with it. So, like, for example, I have, like, your first thoughts are always going to be, like, usually quite negative and judgy, especially in the sort of time I grew up. If you look at the magazines and the media at the time that I grew up, women, and I mean, we still are, but women were seriously pitted against each other. Like, it was like Britney versus Christina, Spice Girls versus whoever the other band was at the time. I can't really remember all that back then. But, like, women especially were pitted against each other. If another girl was prettier than you hated her for no other reason than that you perceived her to be better than you, and therefore you had to find a way to bring her down. And I grew up with that mentality. A lot of women. I don't know how it was for guys. I am not a man. I did not grow up as a boy. I cannot tell you. But from a female perspective, as I grew up, that was always, like, the thing. You were always pitting women against each other, and it got so bitchy and horrible. And you'll find a lot of women my age will say, oh, they get along with boys or guys better than they do with girls, because there's that mentality there. And we always need to sort of, that's where you need to check yourself. That's where you need to step away and realise what's happening. I used to be really good at letting my first thoughts, my first bitchy, snarky, knee-jerk reaction be the thing that came out of my mouth. And I learned that, especially since, like, I would do that and then I'd feel bad, or I'd be like, why did you say that? Like, that was out of hand, out of pocket. Like, you shouldn't have said that. You don't even think that. Why are you saying that? And I realised that your first thoughts you can't control. So I can't remember who I saw say it, but your first thoughts you can't control. It's your second thoughts you need to judge by, or you need to be judged by. So if you look at somebody and go, oh my gosh, she looks horrendous in that, and then you stop and go, well, actually, does she? No. You don't actually care about how she looks, and if she's happy, that's all that matters. Like, humans have such complex society and complex thoughts, and too many people walk around with blinkers on about it and just, muddle along and then put blinkers on to what's happening. But getting back to my point, this is what I love about dystopian books. What I love about dystopian especially, like I say, when you look at the staples like Divergent, like Shatter Me, like The Hunger Games, like there was a fourth one that I mentioned. No, I think that was it. Because fourth wing's fantasy, not dystopian. But when you look at dystopians, it is, like, just purely in the name dystopian. It is a world in which basically all of our nightmares are coming true. It's there's even, like, I think it's like utopian dystopia or dystopian utopia, I can't remember which way around it is, where the world claims to be perfect but actually there's rot underneath it. And I think that is a fascinating subject to cover, and I love that young adult writers, again going back to Hunger Games and such, are opening that discussion with teenagers. Yeah. This has been the longest time since I've been on a rant about books like this, but that's how this made me feel. That's how, yeah, there's the romance in it, yeah, it's quite cheesy, yeah, there's bits in it where I was like, what? But were there unnecessary sex scenes in this? Absolutely. Although they're not very descriptive. They're not fade black, but they're not, descriptive. But all in all, I think the overarching message was done very well. And it's funny because the sort of tagline for this is trust no one, and it absolutely exuded this message at every single turn. Just when you think it's going one way, something comes out of the left field, and I really, really enjoyed that. I really, really enjoyed this. Was it the best thing that's ever been written? No. Did I thoroughly enjoy it? Yes. I'm pretty sure this is a debut novel, so I'm very happy with that. And I'm excited to read the second book, which is called Broken Dove. I also love this map. Like, this is very much shows you that this is in America. Like, they wear jeans and stuff like that. And like, California's gone. The whole friggin', was it, what direction are we going in? East Coast is kind of gone. Canada's called the Lawless Lands, which, I see you, Canada. I see you, Canada. It's so interesting. I can't wait to see how this gets expanded in the next book. I really, really am looking forward to it. Okay, that is enough rambling. But I am gonna go. I think I'm gonna watch a few more videos on YouTube or watch an episode or something. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go take my antibiotics. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my antibiotics and then gonna watch something, and I might pick up something else to read. But I'm not sure. When I tell you I need to go to bed, I need to go to bed. I've gotten to the point of like ridiculous. I've been scrolling through reels since I finished my book. Not doing anything I was meant to do. I forgot to take my meds and everything. Which is great. It's fine. I'm fine. I took my antibiotics. That's the important part. I took the antibiotics, but I accidentally turned off, and didn't accidentally. I turned off the alarm for my midnight meds. So I forgot about them, but I've taken them now. I'm through my algorithm to the point where I've just watched What Does the Fox Say? Followed by The Four Hobbits rapping, followed by They're Taking the Hobbits to Isengard. Guard. I need to go to bed. Even my algorithm's going loopy. I need to go to bed. Hamish is looking at me like he's worried. I get it. So I'm going to go to bed, because I need to get up for the gym tomorrow as well. So I just thought I'd come and tell you this, because I thought you'd find it funny. Just, if you've not seen the Hobbits rapping, you need to. It's funny. Also, if you don't know They're Taking the Hobbits to Isengard, you must be like Gen Alpha or something, because the millennials ate that shit up. I'm so chronically millennial. I'm so like painfully millennial. It's so funny. I'm going to bed. Oh, also, tangent. Kind of, because we're still talking at reels. I watched like 3 guys play Jeopardy, and it was like Disney characters, and he got Gaston, and then they didn't get Olaf. It's like, this character says some people are worth melting for. It's Olaf. And then it was she is a creation. She resents her creator, Dr. Finkelstein, for making her or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, what are we not getting here? There was another one as well that was like, they were the more like the pricier questions, but there was one that like they didn't get a single one after Gaston, which I mean kind of proves that Gaston just ruins everything. But that's not the point. I also saw one, and it was like, I don't know what it was, but there was like two women. I think they were against each other. Each had like an amount of time, and they had to like go between them naming musicals. And this woman saw Dr. Frankenfurter and said, Chicago. Now, and then she got Matilda wrong. She had something else down as Matilda, but I can't remember what. Annie. It was Annie, like the original, like Annie with the bald guy that died. The actual ginger, like the ginger kid. I love that because I love the whole "we got Annie" thing, and my mum never knows what I'm talking about, which is really upsetting. But yeah, she said Matilda for Annie, and then didn't get Matilda when it came up. There was other ones they didn't get as well. I was like, are you kidding me? The only one I was like on was a chorus line because I've never seen a chorus line, but the rest of them I got. But anyway, what was this? What was the point of this? Oh, that was the point of this. So while at the time I was very mad at her for getting Rocky Horror Picture Show mixed up with Chicago, I kind of see it. I could absolutely see Rocky Horror Picture Show going Fosse. I can see that. I can appreciate that. I don't think that's what she was thinking, but I can see. Could you imagine Rocky Horror but with like Fosse? That would be amazing. Anyway, Hamish is whining. I don't know if you can hear him whistling behind you. I'm going to go to bed because clearly we're on a spiral. Clearly. Hello, it is Sunday. I did not vlog at all yesterday because I was feeling absolutely horrendous. I'm still feeling not great. I'm having a wee bit of a pain flare up, I think because of the cold weather. Which is why I am a summer girly. I need my heat. I'm like a lizard. My knees are agony. My legs are agony. My hips are agony. I'm so sore all over. So sore. But between yesterday and today, I did finish fan service. I read about 250-ish pages, I want to say. Last night. Let me see. Yeah, about 158 pages last night, and then I finished the rest of it today. And honestly, if you go into this thinking you're going to get like a serious book, lower your expectations. This is like, well, fan service. It's fan fiction. So it covers two characters. One who is a not quite washed up child star, but like he was in a series called The Arcane Files. And played a character called Colby. I can't remember his name. Devon. His name is Devon. He played a character called Colby, who was a werewolf. And then, inexplicably, one morning, he wakes up at the start of the book, and he is in his garden, and he is naked, and he's like, what the hell happened last night? And then, the next night, he gets caught on camera, pretending to be a werewolf. We obviously actually know something happened to him, and it turns out that the TV werewolf is turning into a real life IRL werewolf. And so who does he go to for help but a girl who was the sort of number one mod on all of his like Reddits and stuff, all of the channel Reddits and wikis and stuff like that. And she met him when she was 17, and she'd forgotten something, went back to get it. And it was only him and the photographer in the room, and he was really cruel about her. He said something quite nasty. And ever since then, she hated him. And so she was still the mod for this thing, but she made sure to really dig into him. And so they kind of embark on this, like, trying to figure out, one, is he actually a werewolf? And two, if he is actually a werewolf, how does he deal with that? Can you change him back? Can he control it? What's going on here? And so they use their knowledge from the TV show to work out what's going on with Devlin. And Alex and Devlin, I'm adding an L to his name, Devon. Alex and Devon are absolute caricatures. Like, at one point, it's self-aware as well. Like, at one point she actually says, I sound like a self-insert in a fanfic. This is very much written like a published fanfic. It is not. Like, the Arcane Files is not a real thing. I mean, could it be based on something that Rosie Dannon has read or watched? Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is given spoofy CW, like, imagine, like, fanfic for, like, Vampire Diaries or Teen Wolf, the TV show, not the film. And, like, that's what it's given. My biggest criticism of this is partially how unserious it is, but not in, like, the story being unserious, fine. But I had to keep reminding myself that he's 41, 42, and she is 34, 35. I think they have a birthday. Like, he's in his early 40s, and she is in her mid-30s. And they don't act like it. They act like 20-something-year-olds. Like, the amount of times I wanted to tell him to get a grip and grow up. Now, that may just be because he was a child star and he was sort of abused by his parents to, like, work and make money, and they used all the money. Like, he lived in poor conditions, and he never got a chance to be a child, and then he was never given proper discipline or ability to be socialised because they kept him isolated as part of the abuse, and he never got to really act. It's like you see a lot of child stars, like, they really struggle when they have to look after themselves, and I think that he had a little bit of regression that way. It was never discussed that way, but some of the things he said, I was like, you sound 25, not 40. And it annoyed me a little bit, but if you think about it in a way where it's like, he has really struggled to be an adult, then maybe, like, I don't know. That was the only thing that bothered me. I still really liked the story. It was fun, it was campy, it was so unserious, and I actually really enjoyed it. Which is good, because I really didn't like Do Your Worst, but I think that was because it was set in Scotland. I really think if Do Your Worst had been set anywhere else, I would have enjoyed it. But because it's set in Scotland and there's a part of it where they're in St Andrews, which is somewhere I used to work, it fucked me off something rotten because it was so wrong. And not in like it was honestly, like, the fact that they drove to St Andrews from the other side of the country and exactly the time that it had on, like, to the minute time it has on Google Maps, which you're never going to get there in time going cross country. It's not going to happen. And also in the winter, and also got parked in St Andrews in front of the uni with no problems. They just into a parking space. It's not how St Andrews works. You need to give an arm and a leg, your firstborn child, blood, sweat and tears to find a parking space. And I'm disabled. I have a blue badge, but I'm not getting into that. This was, I enjoyed this. I really, really did enjoy this, but there was something about the characters that just, I mean, this is very, like, 2000s, 2010s cringe. It really, really is. And I think that actually, the fact that she leans into it, like, it's not written in a way where it's like, oh my god, that's cringy, please stop. It really leans into the cringe, and I really quite like it. This is a millennial book, if ever I've read one. I would be interested to see what, like, younger readers are saying about this. Younger readers. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm about the age of the main character. It's funny because someone says to him about millennials, and he's like, I'm Gen X, not millennial. This is very much a millennial, like an elder millennial book. So, like, I'm curious as to see what younger readers make of it when, like, they grew up on different things. But yeah, this is very much an homage to cringy millennial 2010s era. I really enjoy. I'm glad I read it. But I wish I'd known to not go into it with any ounce of seriousness, because that would have improved it. My reading from the start. Yeah. Also, I have to say, I wanted a lot more out of this. Like, I would have loved some of the more serious things that could have been thinking in this book. Come on, oh my god, right, this has been bothering me. Like, it's damaged, but it's just like the layer of the things coming off. That's been annoying me the whole way. I've been really hyper aware of it. Next, I do still have Emily Wells' Encyclopedia of Fairies, but I've been, like, on a roll reading physical books, so I'm going with it. Next, I want to read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is actually Bobby's. They kindly let me borrow it, and I'm really excited to read it. It's nice and skinny. I don't even think it's like 400 pages. Is it? 332. 332 pages. So this should be a nice quick read. And everybody's been giving it rave reviews, so I'm excited. But I need to try and not get into the, like, just keep your expectations decent, Andy, and you won't be disappointed. Anyway, I'm going to go watch this video on YouTube that I've just found. No, I just lost it. Okay. Oh no, there it is. Oh, I'm going to go watch this video. And maybe take a break from reading. I do need, like, a little bit of time between books, just so I can, like, finish digesting the book. maybe get myself a cup of tea. It's almost dinner time. It looks like Kay's taking out some bolognese, which I make batches of bolognese in the slow cooker. It's great. It's literally just throw it in and switch on. It's amazing. I love a slow cooker. I am a millennial. An absolute millennial in that sense. So I can make a batch of it. We put it into containers and put it in the freezer, and then we can have it periodically. I will say though, like, my bolognese seems to be better the next day. Even if you just like, you batch it up, cool it down, put it in the fridge, have it the next day, it's much better than if you take it straight from the pot. I don't know why, it just is. So if you're maybe a bit like, about a recipe, maybe have it next day. Although if you're making slow cooker stuff, it's usually like not batch cooking, or it is batch cooking rather. I still need to have a shower as well. I'm going back to work tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, I love my job, but I still get the Sunday scaries because all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, what did I do over the weekend? Like, I've got no more time. Oh my god, I've got to work, so I've got no time. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Okay. Is this... my grey hairs are clumping together. Like, what is going on? That's not the point, Andy. I have just started Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Look at those what are they called? End pages. There we go. Atmosphere. Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am 18 pages into it. And what in the fuckity fuck? What? What do you mean that's the start of the book? I could... right. This is all positive, by the way. This is me freaking out because it's good. So, like, if you're... I know Becca said to me today, if you don't like it, please don't tell me. This is... if you're watching this, Becca, this is a positive reaction, but also like a reaction. So it's been a while since I've read a Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read Daisy Jones and the Six, and I've read Evelyn Hugo. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I know I liked them. And I've not picked up anything else from Taylor Jenkins Reid for reasons. I may have to revise, like, I might have to look back on some of her previous, like, Carrie Soto is back, not really interested in the whole tennis thing. And what was the other one? Malibu Rising. It was the, almost like the, it was like, oh, it's, I think it was the age of the, which sounds weird, but like, spoiled rich kids is not necessarily the vibe I'm like here for. So those are mainly the reasons that I didn't read those 2 books. I think that's all she's written. Oh, okay. Okay, that's what all I've been... oh yeah, One True Loves. I've not read because I don't think I can deal with that. It's like when I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I've not read a single Kristen Hanna since because that traumatised me so much. It was excellent. It's one of my favourite books of all time, but I'm not ready to go back into anything like that yet. I do have The Woman. I will read that, but like it took me a while to be able to get up the courage. But One True Loves, I'm scared to read. Forever Interrupted, never heard of. After I Do, never heard of. Maybe in Another Life, I have heard of. But I don't know. I just never... anyway, my point being, so this book starts off... to be fair, I didn't know what this book was about past female astronauts and it's sapphic. I didn't really look into it further than that. I knew I was going to read it at some point. I was waiting on the paperback coming out, which is why I've borrowed it from Bobby, because I really I keep seeing all the hype about it and I really want to read it, but I'm waiting on the paperback coming out, and so Bobby let me borrow her copy, which is very kind, because signed with sprayed edges, I would be loath to lend that out to anybody, frankly. But I will take very good care of it. But now, yeah, back to the actual book. Like, what do you mean that's the start of it? Like, right, first of all, I read the first page and I was like, oh, I'm going to like this. There was just something that felt nostalgic. I felt like coming home with the style of the writing. It reminds me a lot of the writing style in Project Hail Mary. And if you've read both, you may understand what I mean. Or if you've read both, you may think, Andy, you're being ridiculous. No, it doesn't. But for me, it made me think of Project Hail Mary. Just within the first, like, sort of writing style. I love Project Hail Mary, so that's a good sign. I am loving this so far. And I can't even remember what I was coming on here to say. Just like, I am blown away. I don't know if I've spoken to you today. It's Sunday. I did, because I finished fan service. And I'm just reading a bit more before I go to bed. I was hoping to get further through this, but I had to shower, as you can see. I am clean. Got my work stuff left for tomorrow, ready for tomorrow. I'm going to do some reading before bed. As you can probably hear, it is very windy outside. So that's just fantastic. My hands are so scaly and horrible. I need to start using... I do have Palmer's, which has been really amazing for my hands. But the problem is it's in the hallway, which means it's not here, which means I've been forgetting to put it on. That was a plant outside hitting the window if you heard it. Anyway, I'm just yabbering now. Basically, this so far has broken my brain very quickly. And do you know what it's reminding me? It's like Project Hail Mary and Lessons in Chemistry, like that sort of idea, like together, that is what it's reminding me of. And so far, I am very much enjoying it. Hello, it's just occurred to me that I did not close off this vlog, and I'm going to bed. So I got to like 96 pages through Atmosphere, and I'm still really, really enjoying it. I'm definitely looking forward to reading the rest of it. But yeah, I finished a book. I'm happy about that. I think in this vlog I only finished one book. No, surely. Did I finish two? I'll see on editing what I did. I don't even know what I did this week. But I definitely finished fan service. And started Atmosphere and really enjoying it. So I count that as a win for the week. I am, however, in a lot of pain. So tomorrow's going to be fun for work. Yeah, I seem to have done... There's a muscle that goes from like the back of your neck down. It's like a kite shaped, and I hate that love. It's my least favourite muscle because it always gets pinged, and I've pinged it again. So I'm really sore. Yeah, so wish me luck. Thanks so much for watching. If you are wanting to let me know you're here but you don't want to sit and type something, if you leave me a wolf emoji or like the full moon emoji or something to do with fan service, so werewolf related stuff. That's him shifting on the bed because he is wondering who I'm talking to. Anyway, look, here he comes. I tried to show him, but you can't see it because he's black and it's dark in here. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.